What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Calisthenics. I'm Kevin.
Alright guys, I'm sorry, I just woke up, but we are currently sitting here in a harbor in Scituate. I actually was able to dock. I can't go too fast because it is still hurricane season, so I kind of got to be careful. There's actually another one coming up.
I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me. You've done whatever you could. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you so much. You love me like your own.
Everyone wants to know how you get your exercise in because you're so lean.
I do it like ISIS. I usually only do one at a time.
I'm sure many of you will be familiar with who this is, Nick Reiner.
And you know what? You're gonna have to bail me out of jail.
On his YouTube channel, there's just one video, this, which in retrospect takes on an unsettling tone.
Sometimes I just come out to gather my sick thoughts.
He discusses drugs use and going to jail, which is where he is right now.
The geniuses, the brilliant ones, the people I'm referring to myself with.
After he stabbed his father, noted film director Rob Reiner, and his mother to death in their bed. Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike. And in this old video, I have for you once again 4 YouTube channels that each have their own dark and at times pretty horrifying twists to them. Each of these channels is up right now, much like Nick Reiner's, sometimes giving you an eerie glance into a disturbing case, other times being outright murderous. And with like 1 million videos posted on YouTube each minute, there is definitely some disturbing backstories there. From sailors who vanished to literal killers, we're gonna get into all of it. But before we do, please subscribe to see new stories for the dark every single week. Now, you and I, let's give it a go. The first channel I want to talk to you about started off with great hope. It was a fresh start.
Guys, I'm sorry, I just woke up, but we are currently sitting here in a harbor in Scituate. I actually was able to dock. I have my solar panels, which for some reason the order didn't end up going through, but they should be arriving tomorrow, which is good. I went ahead and plugged in so I could get everything charged up. And then I'll actually get the boat solar panels down at the next harbor, which will be really exciting. Really quick, so I'm from Colorado. My name's Matthew Dennis. I recently just kind of dropped everything and sold all my stuff and bought a boat and moved on to it.
In Salem, Massachusetts, a town known for its port and absolutely nothing else the locals would love, a young 22-year-old man named Matthew Dennis had just purchased a new boat. Well, it was a new boat for him.
It's a 28-foot, or it's a Peterson 28-1, so it's a 28-foot single mast, keel stepped sailboat. I bought it in Boston. I bought it in Salem, which is just a little bit north of Boston, and I just recently sailed it across the Boston Harbor into Scituate. I'm making my way down to the Cape Cod Canal. I'm going to sail through the Cape Cod Canal and then hopefully on down to Florida, making just kind of stops along the way, hitting anchorages, resting up when I need to. This is my first time single-handling something this big, and I'm definitely in way over my head.
It was September 2022, and Matthew, he was going on an adventure. At least, that's how it started. Matthew Joseph Dennis was originally from Loveland, Colorado, born February 2000 in Fort Collins. Matthew and his sister Michaela grew up with foster parents, who cherished them till they found their forever family, which they did when Matthew was 6, the Dennis family, as you probably guessed. Matthew was gregarious, ambitious, a devout Catholic, and went on missions in New Mexico and Tanzania, if you can believe that. He was also an extremely talented swimmer, which is of no surprise, he would later take to sail, coming from a landlocked CO. You know, Matthew, he was full of confidence, as you will absolutely hear, but he was someone who was really struggling to find direction in his life as a man in his early 20s. He went on one adventure after another, always trying to find something.
How's it going, guys? Matthew Dennis here. Happy Wednesday. Today I want to focus on expecting the unexpected. So much of life is put into numbers and we quantify and we make a routine around, but a lot of times the biggest impacts of our lives are the ones that we didn't see coming. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. A lot of people have a general idea, but nobody knows. So expect the unexpected and find comfort in the fact that anything can happen. Have a good one, guys.
He started his own company in January 2022, Consolidate Marketing, which, going by Wayback Machine, states its mission is Consolidate Marketing was founded to help others start and scale their passions into full businesses. So many potentially great businesses fail due to ineffective abilities to gain traction with the correct clients. Do not make the same mistake. Focus on the business and allow us to focus on the minutiae that is the modern social marketing world. Wow, I feel like I know so much about that by just that word vomit salad. So there you have it. He also started a podcast called This Exquisite Life. Let's have a listen, despite that work on the title.
How's it going, guys? Matthew Dennis with Consolidate Marketing. Hopefully you guys are all having a fantastic week. I'm particularly excited for this one. There's one project that we are working on that I cannot wait to see the change unfold from it. More information to come on that. Until then, do check out the new episode of the Exquisite Life podcast released this afternoon. Links in bio.
Welcome to the Exquisite Life. My name is Matthew Dennis. I'm a successful 22-year-old and striving to be more successful every day. I wanted to start this podcast as kind of a guiding voice for young men because I think that this is a struggling generation of identity and who we are and what we need to be doing and what we can be doing. And there's a lot of limiting factors out there, and there's a lot of false information out there. And I want this to be kind of a safe haven for information, a resource if you want to grow and better yourself on this pursuit of what I'm calling the exquisite life.
But Matthew, he wanted success, and he considered himself successful. He just didn't know what he wanted to do with life. He tried professional chess. He looked into working in law. He'd worked in the automotive industry. He had started his own marketing company. He started a self-help podcast. And like a lot of other things, the podcast didn't last terribly long. And so it was that in August of 2022, he stopped running his business. He quit his own thing. Can you quit your own business? I guess you can, because he did. And he proudly announced on his podcast his future plans. He posted his last episode on September 8, 2022. He then sold everything he owned and was off to Massachusetts. In Salem, Massachusetts, he purchased a 28-foot fiberglass sailboat with plans to sail from Massachusetts all the way down to Florida, documenting his entire journey on TikTok, which is no longer up, and YouTube. I guess he felt his new adventure would be to be a travel YouTuber type kind of guy.
How's it going, everybody? I did something pretty stupid today. Well, I did a lot of stupid things today, I think. But I'm happy because the wind is good. I am on a sailboat right now. What's up, guys? Beautiful day here. A little cloudy, but that's all right. I'm leaving today, head to Scituate. Hopefully grab my bag that the airplane lost. Gotta love that. Follow along, guys. We're gonna take this boat, sail away. We're gonna sail her all the way down to Florida. And this is my first time single-handling a boat this big. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little sketchy.
But this would be Matthew's final adventure. Things were not good from the start. I mean, there were bad signs. He lost his bag while he was flying from Colorado to Boston. It was September, which is hurricane season on the eastern seaboard. He broke his arm.
On top of that, I'm literally going to be doing it single-handing because I'm pretty sure I broke my arm, so that's super exciting. I'm hoping it's just a sprain. We're going to do our best to avoid the hurricane that's currently coming through as well. Waves are supposed to get up to like 30 feet around here, and that's as big as my boat. We're almost there. Hopefully we don't run into that. Beautiful.
He did, in fact, run into that. That was Hurricane Fiona.
Hurricane Fiona is currently passing Massachusetts, which is why we got these crazy wind gusts.
After going through that, he posted his final video, September 25th, 2022.
And I'm excited. I'm really excited to get out of this bay. I've been trying to get out of this bay for a week now, and that's just ridiculous. It should have been a 1 day, if not 2 day thing. But
he did make it out of Buzzards Bay and continued on south. It was 4 days after he posted this video that he was off the coast of Long Island. He made contact with Coast Guard on September 29th. And then, the very next day, the hurricane hit. Hurricane Ian, which he mentioned he was expecting.
And I just was getting hit all night with waves. They were about I don't know, 3 feet, maybe 4 feet. But they were just hitting me from the side. I don't know why my anchor didn't want to like swing me around. I can't go too fast because it is still hurricane season, so I kind of got to be careful. There's actually another one coming up, so I think it's supposed to be, I'm supposed to hit it probably Wednesday to Friday this week, kind of depending on my progress. But I'll have to find a good place to just kind of anchor out so I'm not messing around with 40-foot waves and hurricane 50-knot winds. Beautiful.
And after that, Matthew Dennis just vanished. He has never been seen again. The last time anybody heard from him was when he replied to a text sent from family. They were worried about him with the hurricane hitting, asking if he was okay, as the waters would be extremely rough. The last message he sent, yes, alive, and it's a beautiful sunset. Soon after, communication was gone, and the Coast Guard began a search for him. This is what the storm looked like when he vanished, and since then, not even his boat has been found. The Coast Guard finally suspended the search for Matthew Dennis on October 11th, and still to this day, nothing, absolutely nothing, has ever been found of this guy just looking for adventure. It's a pretty tragic story of a man who wanted adventure and seemingly bit off more than he bargained for. Not very experienced, moving to a place he's never been during the worst sailing time of the year with a fractured arm, at the very least. But he did finally find that adventure he was so hoping for. And speaking of people living very active online lives, you can really learn a lot about them, like a surprising amount. Truly, these days, with all of us having prolific online lives, social media work for a lot of us, you need to be careful about what is out there about you, because if the wrong information also falls into the wrong hands, it can make your life miserable or even worse. For many of us, our names are out there, addresses, emails, social media handles, and more. Things you really don't want just anybody to be able to find. And unfortunately, they've probably already found them. Like, check your spam folder right now. It's full to the brim. But it can get worse than spam with the amount of info out there on sketchy sites. Scammers can get it and they'll know all about you so they can pretend to be someone you trust. Or your identity can be stolen. The number of data breaches is on the rise every year. You need someone watching your back. That's why I'm grateful that today's sponsor, Incogni, is out there ready to remove all of your personal and private information. Incogni tracks down and removes your personal data from multiple sites, including online directories, people's search sites, and even commercial databases. The process is fully automated for hundreds of known data brokers, companies that collect and sell your data without your consent. Data can reappear on these sites, so they repeatedly remove it for you. Also, use their custom removal feature to take down almost everything that's exposed about you online. Send them a link and a dedicated privacy expert everything else. I've been with Incogni for over a year now, and every month I get my privacy report. Will handle telling me how many removal requests sent, completed, and still waiting a response on. And they won't stop till they get a response. It's super simple, quick, and easy. It can prevent identity theft, loans being taken out in your name, and ruined reputations. They can't harm you if they can't find you, and Incogni will make you invisible. Hi. And Incogni is the only personal data removal service to be independently verified by Deloitte, so you know you can trust them to remove your information, regularly follow up on it, and track it in real time. So take back your personal data with Incogni. Use code THATCHAPTER or go to incogni.com/thatchapter to get an exclusive deal of 60% off an annual subscription. Once again, use code THATCHAPTER or go to incogni.com/thatchapter to get 60% off an annual subscription. Thank you so much to Incogni for sponsoring this whole video and keeping us safe online. Now let's get back to it. Okay, so I did fib a little at the beginning, because one of the channels I'm going to talk about is not up anymore. And that is Big Money T. I'm sure he was dabbing when he came up with that name. Is dabbing still a thing? What was posted on that channel, though, was very similar to what was posted on another, also run by the same fella, named Trent Pascal. In October 2020, though, something was posted very much out of the ordinary.
Okay, here I'm going to show you how to make the quickest, simplest, easiest, probably the cheapest way to make a good external battery for the GoPro.
and the previous uploads were all your typical family affair. Son's first day at elementary school, vacations, how-tos, home video type stuff. The Trent Pascal in question was 47-year-old Trent of Lamarck, Galveston County, Texas. Trent had been married to 30-year-old Savannah Pascal for a good few years, and they had 2 kids together. This has come 2020. However, by 2020, things were really not good between the two of them, like, at all. There would be accusations, allegations of infidelity, and although the neighbors would say they had never publicly, seen them arguing, behind closed doors, shit was very much going down between Trent and Savannah. He was 17 years older than her, but they had been together for a few years. Trent, though, as you will see, probably not the easiest guy to live with, as he is this much of a narcissist. And when I say this much, I mean this much.
You gotta wait till it starts smoking up before you...
Am I good here, or is it blowing up?
You won't even hardly see. I'd get in the shade right there if I was you, because you're gonna get a glare on your phone.
I don't see any right now. Any from my ears. Don't you like my cool vibe?
All right, start recording.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is with the Halo Angel, I think it's an 80 millimeter, the Angel Halo LEDs. If you go on eBay and type in Angel Halo LED.
Trent, though, he had no history of violence. He's never been charged with anything like that, but he did have a couple of thefts on his record. So that makes what happened on August 21st, 2020 all the more shocking. Earlier that day, in the Pascal home, there had been, well, it's only ever been described in the police reports as an incident between Trent and Savannah, likely some kind of big blow-up argument or whatever. Savannah then left the home to go and check on her kids who were at school. Why she did that, was she worried about her kids, remains unknown. But she would then return back to her home with her mom, Shirley. When Savannah and her mom, Shirley, arrived back to the house, to the Pascal home, Shirley went to use the bathroom in the master bedroom, the ensuite. At which point Trent, who had been home the entire time, jumped out of the shower in the master bedroom, pointing a revolver at Shirley. He was saying he was going to kill both her and his wife, Savannah. Shirley ran, slamming the bathroom door on Trent. Trent chased her out, and Shirley would say as she ran, she heard gunshots coming from directly behind her. Shirley ran to her neighbors, calling the cops, and upon seeing Trent leave the home, she went back in and found her daughter, Savannah, dead on the floor of the master bedroom, with 2 gunshot wounds to her stomach. She was later pronounced dead. Hours later, police would find Trent in a Walmart parking lot. He pulled a gun on them and was shot multiple times by police, but he survived.
They found it parked here at this Walmart on I-45 North and West Road.
That suspect was spotted along with another gentleman in a different car that was driven back towards the vehicle that we were initially searching for.
Deputies say they ordered the vehicle to stop and asked the suspect and his friend to step out of the vehicle.
He produced a handgun from underneath his shirt and had it in his hand. It was a revolver. Deputies, and specifically a patrol sergeant, ordered him to drop the weapon. He did not comply with his orders and he was shot.
Trent was transported to Memorial Hermann, where investigators say he's in critical condition.
It was later on that very same day that neighbors found this video, which had been posted to YouTube on his YouTube channel just hours previous. Now, it was initially reported that the video was filmed after the shooting, after he murdered Savannah in their bedroom, but before he fled the house. However, upon viewing it, I think it's more widely believed that he filmed this video before, and I'm talking minutes before Savannah and her mom Shirley entered the house, and he murdered his wife in cold blood.
I'm recording this because I want my daughter to know that I love you, Mackenzie Pascal. I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me. And William, I love you too. I love you so much. I love you like you're my own. I didn't choose this. Your mom chose this. She's been cheating on me for a long time. I have audio of her talking to other guys. I didn't do nothing wrong to her. When we first got together, I told her, "You're too young for me." There's an 18-year-old difference in her age. And I knew she was kind of too young, but she's been playing me for a fool. I told her not to mess with me, not to mess with my emotions. Don't play with me. I got an audio where she was calling a guy yesterday on her way to get her eyelashes done. And she said, "Hey, baby." And he goes, "Hey." And I was like, "That's not my voice. Why is she calling somebody else baby?" Then she started talking about a dream and everything, and she had with them too about sex and everything. I put everything into this relationship. I have done nothing to your mom. I've never hit her. I've never hurt her. I've never called her names. A couple of times when I got really mad, I would say a bad word or something, but I've done everything I can. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm like, why me? My hair's a mess and I look horrible. Oh, sorry. Take these off.
In this likely preemptive confession, he's worried about his appearance. He's fake crying. And, well, trying to justify what he is about to do. It's an insincere apology to his children.
I'm so sorry, I don't have better words right now. I'm hurting so bad.
He keeps looking away, not because he's expecting the police, but because he's waiting for his wife, and he knows she will be home at any second. Likely when he heard somebody walk into the bathroom, he assumed it was his wife. That's why he jumped out with the gun, and luckily he didn't kill Shirley just there dead right then. But she ran, Trent followed her, and then he encountered Savannah, who was just outside in the bedroom. Shirley fled the house. Savannah didn't.
And I don't know what else to say. Sorry, I keep looking at the cameras. I don't know how much time I have. But I've never done anything like to her. I don't know. I was going back. My mind is everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you so much. You love me like your own.
The video ends with him suddenly looking off screen and then running into the bathroom, hiding in the shower. Seconds later, Shirley would walk in. He would chase her out, encountering his wife in the bedroom and horrifically murdering her in cold blood. After Trent recovered from being shot by police, he would later in fact be released on bail, if you can believe that, but with an ankle monitor. So at least he's got that going for him. And can I shock you? That didn't stay on for long. After doing something so cold-blooded as murdering his wife in their bedroom, shooting her dead, it was in April, 4 months after he was released from prison, that he took off the GPS ankle monitor, which should have been alarmed, but it wasn't. No alarm went out. At this point, Trent, he was living with his mom. He then took a scooter into Houston. He went to USA Auto Brokers in Houston, where he asked to test drive a car, a black 2013 Chevy Tahoe. A salesman went along with him till Trent drove to a gas station and whipped out a knife, telling the salesman to get out. From there, he went on the run with US Marshals on his case. However, it seemed like he had vanished. There would be sightings all over the country, from Texas to Wisconsin, but he truly disappeared. He remained on the run for 9 full months before a tipster who had seen his image believed she was eyeballing him in real life. This was in Ocala, Central Florida, on New Year's Day, 2022. A tipster called the local sheriff's office after she had seen Trent Pascal naked and asleep in a white van in an RV park. That white van Trent was seen sleeping in the nip, dong hanging out. That van had actually been stolen from Peoria, Illinois, if you can believe that. That's how far. And across America, he had been traveling during these 9 months when he had been on the run after shooting his wife dead and, well, filming the little video first and then shooting his wife dead. Oh, and threatening a salesman with a knife. Which, I mean, deputies surrounded the van. They told Trent to surrender And minutes later, they would say they heard a muffled pop and then the sound of something heavy falling to the ground. Police went inside and found him dead of a single gunshot wound to the head. A cowardly, narcissistic man who ambushed his own wife, filming this disingenuous crocodile tears video, taking a way out that doesn't seem surprising. He never wanted to face the justice he so truly deserved. He tried to die by cop when they found him the very day pulling out that revolver, and he's lucky they didn't kill him. They almost did. He was in hospital for like a month, and then when they finally caught up with him again, he would have done the exact same thing.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Fitness with Kevin. I'm Kevin. Today, we're gonna do a follow-along leg routine. This is an advanced follow-along workout. It's gonna be awesome for your legs. The way I designed this workout is that it's gonna target your quads, your calves, your hamstrings, and your core.
The calisthenics channel on YouTube is exactly sorta what it says in the tin. It's all about workout and form and tips and getting fit. Six-pack abs, baby doll. You gon' get fit with the fella who ran the calisthenics YouTube channel, Kevin Zhang.
Welcome to another episode of Calisthenics. I'm Kevin. Today, we have a special video for you. We're gonna talk about diet and nutrition and what foods you should eat to get muscular, ripped, and lose fat. You ready? Stay tuned.
In 2021, Kevin Zhang was 26 years of age, a grad student at Yale in Connecticut, studying at the School of the Environment. Kevin was also an Army veteran, a man who helped the homeless, and he was, in January 2021, newly engaged to Zion Perry, a fellow grad student at Yale who he had met at a Christian retreat. Kevin had a pretty tough childhood. His dad left the family when Kevin was very, very young, so it was just him and his mom. And Kevin will go through most of his tragically short life supporting his mom, only wanting the best for her, doing whatever he could because she took such good care of him when he was young. And he was bullied a lot to boot, but he overcame it, right? And in 2019, he actually bought his own house, his first house. First thing he did when he bought a house, asked his mom to move in with him. As you can see in his videos, he just wanted to help people, put some goodness out into the world, even though he hadn't received a whole lot in his life. And going back even further, you'll find very sweet, thoughtful videos. Kevin was an accomplished pianist. He uploaded musical covers.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Calisthenics. I'm Kevin. Today is my mom's birthday. I'm taking her out to Orcas Island in the San Juan Islands, and I'd like to share this experience with you. So, happy birthday, Mom.
Thank you.
He adored his mom, uploading an 11-minute video just for her. Dear Mom, I love you so much. Thank you for always praying for me and loving me by taking care of me. Words fail to describe how much I cherish you. I know it was so difficult raising me all by yourself, and many times I could have been a better son. But I promise that I will be a good man, that I will strive to help others in life as long as I continue to draw breath. I will buy you that house you've always wanted, however long it takes. You are my sunshine, my comforter, and my supporter. I love you with everything I am. Happy birthday, Mom. And for somebody who wanted to bring just such, goodness into the world, right? Getting fit and healthy, playing music. His life will come to a horrifying end. It was the evening of February 6th, 2021, and Kevin Zhang had just left his fiancée, Zion Perry's. He just left her apartment, heading to his own home in New Haven, Connecticut. As he was driving home, his Prius was struck from behind by another car. And when Kevin got out to check the damage, he was shot twice. While he lay on the ground, 6 more shots rang out. Shots to the face and stomach. It was pure execution. Kevin had no chance.
over here is the sweet potato.
Later on that same night, police were called to a car stuck on a snowy railroad tracks. They helped the driver, who they assumed had just missed the road or something, and he was on his way.
What are you doing back here, though?
I just got it here accidentally and I got stuck. Is there any way to get stuck here?
The only thing I can do is call you a tow truck.
Okay, cool, thanks.
I mean, if I can get it off the track, I prefer to drive it myself.
So, how about you get a hotel for the night? We'll have the tow truck drop you off at the hotel, you pay for a credit card, and you can arrange picking up the car in the morning.
Okay, let's get the hotel then.
Yeah, let's do that.
If it is difficult.
That's probably the safest thing to do.
Okay.
However, the responding officer noticed some strange things in his car as he helped him. A yellow jacket, a briefcase, an MIT backpack. Nothing weird, he just remembered it, and the driver headed off.
The memorial on Lawrence Street continues to grow. There are flowers, candles, and messages to Kevin to tell him that they love him. The people closest to him just wondering why this all happened.
I heard a gunshot, a woman scream, several shots after that.
A neighbor recalls the harrowing details of what occurred at the corner of Lawrence and Nicole Street at 8:30 Saturday night.
Waited about a minute, came out and saw the body laying there.
As there was this murder investigation going on in regards to Kevin Jiang, and there had been reports of numerous shootings in New Haven at this time. It didn't have a wondrous reputation. It was the next day, after Kevin had been brutally executed in cold blood in the middle of the street, and police had really nothing to go on, that same officer, who the previous night had helped out this guy who had gotten stuck on a snowy railroad tracks, he was called to an Arby's because employees at this Arby's, they had found something quite suspicious. It was suspicious because it was a bag with guns and ammo, and when the officer arrived and saw what they had found, he took great interest because he remembered seeing those exact bags and that exact jacket the previous night in that guy's car. Linking those items to the car scene and CCTV, they had the likely murderer. He was Chin Xuan Pan, probably butchered that, originally from Shanghai but grew up in Massachusetts and had attended MIT, where he met and had been interested in Zion Perry. Now Zion, when she was questioned about this, oh hey, we think we have a link between your fiance's killer and this guy you went to school with in Boston, Zion would say they had never been an item. They had never been romantically linked ever. They were barely acquaintances, if even that. I guess in Chin Xuan Pan's head, they were a little bit more, because Kevin was executed 1 week after they had announced their engagement on social media. It seems like it had been a targeted attack against a man he had been jealous over because of the fact that he was shot mere days after announcing he proposed to Zion Perry, and I'm guessing Chin Xuan Pan saw that and was like, I can't have that now. In the days leading up to Kevin Jiang's execution, Chin Xuan Pan had actually driven around New Haven doing drive-by shootings of random houses in the city. Now, miraculously, nobody was ever actually hurt. He had been doing that, so when Kevin Jiang was actually shot dead in the middle of the street, police would think it was just another random shooting linked to whoever was going around. It was all just totally random, not linked. Police, in fact, did think that possibly there was something going on here about it being random. Not anymore. Police eventually tracked down his parents, who they believed were helping him hide out, and put them under surveillance. They were drawing large cash amounts, and it was thought they may try and help him flee the country, possibly to China. And when, in May 2021, Chin Xuan's mother was staying at a hotel, she asked to borrow the hotel clerk's phone to make a call. She did so, but deleted the number after giving the phone back to the clerk. Police were easily able to find that number. And on May 14, 2021, Chin Xuan Pan was arrested in Alabama, hiding out at a boarding house. He was found with tens of thousands of dollars and his father's passport. In February 2024, he pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to 35 years without parole. A really tragic ending for a guy who just wanted to bring goodness to the world. Executed by some fella he had never met, his fiancée barely even knew, who had a lot more going on in his batshit insane mind than anyone ever knew.
Thanks for watching this episode. gonna go to sleep now. Good night.
At least that psycho is where he belongs. Tragically, Kevin isn't.
Hello, everybody. Hey. Just watching the God of War videos? Well, hell yeah. Yo, I'm so glad you're I'm so glad you're enjoying those. I'm happy to see that. Very happy to see that. Hello, hello. Sorry, we're a little late here. But you know, life. Actually, I didn't even realize that was here, but I'm just gonna leave it here. Hey, cheers, everybody. Mug of the day. Universal Studios. Oh, do we need there we go.
This is a live stream posted February 27th, 2024. The voice you're hearing and the man you're seeing, the Double D, should be Triple D for that douchebag. He had a medium-sized, growing channel of about 14,500 subscribers, and he was a Let's Player on YouTube. As the stream continued, he would dive into Subnautica, and he streamed regularly playing Starfield, Hearthstone, Phasmophobia, and before he was a streamer, he uploaded regular videos, not streaming videos, but again of Let's Plays.
Is where how does he know? Before I even begin, let me ask you a different question. What is your criteria for what makes a great game? How much weight do you put on gameplay versus story? What about the writing, art direction, graphics, the sound design, score?
Going back years, God of War, New Vegas, Resident Evil, Outer Worlds, those sort of games. And also as a YouTuber, he wasn't the worst. He had his little Mug of the Day segment.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dustin, and welcome back to God of War Ragnarok. Our Mug of the Day, we got the big boy, Jurassic Park. Cheers.
This soft-spoken, YouTuber, he was getting this little audience, he was doing alright, So then it was, rather, and by rather I mean quite a shock, when just a couple of days after he did this live stream on YouTube, I'm talking a couple of days.
Open the door with one hand.
He was shockingly arrested on body cam with his young daughters still in the car. This man was Dustin Dern, and in 2024 he was 37 years of age. What did he do to get so violently arrested? He murdered his partner, the mother of his children, Caitlin Nafzinger.
A little about me, I've been a multi-instrumentalist for most of my life. I have an associate in science and audio engineering, and I was a post-production audio engineer at Fox Sports before I left LA and moved to Vegas. So I take audio pretty seriously.
Dustin Dern was, when he was arrested anyway, living in New Hampshire, though he'd sort of been all over, but he'd previously been an active duty Marine, serving in Iraq, Korea, the Philippines, sort of all over. And he had been in combat previously and seen some, horrific things. Dustin was originally from Minnesota, born in 1987. His father, Mark, was also, had been a cop and had served previously. Dustin did well in high school before joining up. He served for a good few years before eventually being honorably discharged in 2011 at the rank of sergeant. From there, he moved to LA, did a variety of jobs, but mostly worked in audio engineering, like with musicians and whatnot. Before the gaming channel existed, there was his music channel and website, simply titled Dustin Dern, and he was a talented musician, fair play to him, talented at music and killing. He'll only put one of them to use going forward. At that time, he was also in a long-term relationship and would be diagnosed later with PTSD, something which negatively affected both his work and his personal relationships. In 2019, he was back living in Minnesota, and he met Caitlin Navzinger, and they began dating, her getting pregnant not long after they initially met, with their first daughter being born in December 2019. Caitlin even had a little appearance in a number of his videos.
We're gonna play a little Stardew Valley. Standard farm?
I know there's one that has more monsters. So
The wilderness. That one could be cool. As like a Halloween-y thing. Let's try it. Let's see what happens.
The couple would later move to Nevada for work for Dustin. And this was all happening very, very soon, as in their first daughter, was born less than a year after they first met. So you know, it's kind of hard to, I guess, maybe know somebody a little bit like that. So as you can imagine, Caitlin and Dustin definitely started to grow apart quite a bit. They did agree to live apart, but share custody, and they seen each other quite often. And soon, Caitlin would say she didn't want to be there. She wanted to leave Nevada. She wanted to go back to Minnesota. She didn't really like it there. Dustin absolutely loved Nevada, though, because, well, you know, it's like a real-life Who can believe that somebody actually built a real-life Vegas after they played New Vegas? That's mad. And from then, there would be more and more accusations about how controlling Dustin was. How he made crazy demands of Caitlin, and how Caitlin wanted to get her and their now 2 daughters away from him. Allegedly, she had even once fled, taking the 2 young girls without Dustin being aware of it. Meanwhile, Caitlin's aunt kept requesting Caitlin to move over to New Hampshire to start fresh, to move in with her and maybe make this a permanent home.
Also, what I was gonna say, because I am literally moving across the country in a month and a half. July 31st, I am moving literally from Las Vegas all the way across the country to New Hampshire. So this has been a big move that we've been planning for a couple years. But yeah, it's happening now. So that's also taking up a lot of our time and attention, and we're having to figure out all the logistics of it. And
by February 2024, they had been there for a few months. Dustin, he had his own place. Caitlin was staying with her aunt. This was in Berlin, New Hampshire. They were sort of thinking what's going to be their next steps, because both of them just wanted the kids, they didn't want each other. However, what Dustin didn't know was that Caitlin had secretly made plans to take their 2 young girls and move back to Minnesota. Allegedly, this was all behind Dustin's back. Dustin streamed his last February 27th, 2024.
Well, Kush, I'm about to pass out here too. But yeah, as you go to work, and I have to freaking pass out, and then of course I'm probably gonna get like 4 hours of sleep, because then my kids are gonna wake up and freaking go crazy. But hey, thanks for everyone for hanging out. Tomorrow I'll live stream it again tomorrow night, same time, probably an hour earlier. But yeah. Oh my god. Jesus, yeah, I'm falling out. But yeah, thanks for everyone for hanging out, of course.
And so this all culminated February 29th, 2024. It was a leap year, I'm not going crazy with a calendar. Caitlin and the 2 girls were in Dustin's rented New Hampshire apartment, as Dustin believed, okay, this is where we're gonna live now. And around lunchtime that day, Dustin kept asking Caitlin, what's going on? Are we moving? Where are you going? Are you taking the girls? Are you leaving Minnesota? And she just kept shutting him down, wouldn't say anything, which led to Dustin, allegedly, we only have his side of the story, unfortunately, getting more and more frustrated. Eventually, he asked Caitlin to leave his apartment. Instead, she grabbed their 4-year-old girl, sat down on a couch, and refused to move, holding the little girl in front of her. Dustin kept asking her to leave. He tried to pull the little girl off Caitlin. Caitlin pulled her back, squeezing the little girl so hard she screamed. Allegedly, again, this is Dustin's story. Dustin then said, his PTSD just kicked in. He said it would be muscle memory upon viewing what in his mind he said was a threat. It's like his military training kicked in. He would say he just walked over, picked up a firearm, a handgun, calmly walked back and shot Caitlin in the head while she was still holding their 4-year-old girl. The bullet, he said, going in one side, coming out the other.
We are interrupting your program this morning with a breaking update to the Amber Alert out of Berlin, New Hampshire that we've been following all morning. New Hampshire Attorney General's office now saying a woman's body has been found at an apartment on Main Street in Berlin. It was found late last night as part of this investigation. That woman has been identified as 31-year-old Caitlin Nafziger.
31-year-old woman was found dead inside that house there on Main Street at 10:30 Thursday night. Upon entering that apartment building, they found her body, and now they have issued an Amber Alert asking for the public's help finding 2 missing children. Elowen Duran is 4 years old. She's 3 feet tall, 30 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. And Valen Duran is a 1-year-old infant, 20 pounds. She also has blonde hair and blue eyes. These children were last seen here in Berlin, New Hampshire, Thursday night around 8 o'clock with their biological father. His name is Dustin Duran. He's 37 years old, 5'10", brown hair.
He then fled the scene with his daughters in the backseat. And as he drove, he called his dad back in Minnesota, telling him what he had just done. Murdered his partner while she was holding their daughter. And then he went dark. It was his dad who called the police, and the murder scene was found, and then an Amber Alert was issued. A witness seeing that Amber Alert saw Dustin's car in Keene, New Hampshire, and followed him till he went to an Applebee's parking lot, at which point the car was surrounded and Dustin was arrested and charged with murder. When this case went to trial in October 2025, Dustin said the shooting was him reacting to a perceived threat towards his daughter, and it was in self-defense.
All I was thinking of was Elowen. My focus was Elowen. My entire mindset was save Elowen. This was not about Caitlin.
Mr. Duran, you were saving Elowen from being squeezed too tight, correct? From being pulled away from you, correct?
From being hurt, yes.
And you've indicated here that it was your Marine training that kicked in, correct?
It was, yes.
And your Marine training tells you that when you point a gun at somebody, it's to kill, correct?
Yes.
And so the end result that you knew would happen when you pointed that gun at Caitlin was that you were going to kill her, correct?
In a very, very basic sense, I guess so, yes.
That was his story, and he was sticking to it. His combat training kicked in because Caitlin was threatening him. She was demanding money from him, saying that if he didn't give her what she wanted, he would never see his daughters again. Who knows how much of that story is actually true? But regardless, her holding a girl in her lap is, well, shooting her in the head was definitely a far step to go, but he went there. Ultimately, he was found guilty by a jury of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 45 years to life in prison, where he is yet to broadcast a live stream from, but here's hoping. How will we get by without our mug of the day?
Another cheers. Another cheers. Jurassic Park cheers. Hold on to your butts.
Thank you so much for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this old video, doing another of the darkest YouTube channels. I'm not sure what number this is, like 9 or 10? You know what the funny thing is? I have like so many more of these to do because I keep finding these like insane channels and I try to balance them out. So there's some more crazy ones coming forward. So look forward to that. But until the next old video, which will be up next week, please take care of each other. Please take care of yourselves. Because guess what? I love you. Mike out.